Hello everyone. Welcome to Rajeshwari's Commerce and Management Study Hub. I am Rajeshwari here. In the previous video, we have understood the introduction to the GST, meaning of GST, what is transaction, what is inter and intra-state transactions, and concept of GST, need for GST, benefits of GST, and background of GST. All this we have understood in the previous video. Today, we are going to discuss, as we know, what is the meaning of GST. As per the Constitution of India, GST means GST is a tax. Tax on what? A taxable event called supply. Taxable event called supply. So, today in our video, we are going to understand supply under GST. The overall structure of the supply under GST is we are going to study section 7, section 8, schedule 1, schedule 2 and schedule 3. Important definitions. First we will understand who is a supplier, who is called as a supplier, because under supply the supplier supplies the goods or services or both, right? Whom we will call it as a supplier? When we can call him as a supplier? Let us understand. Here, person who is supplying said goods, services, or both includes agent who is acting on his behalf. In case of specified actionable claims, all these we are going to understand in detail. Person who is organizing, arranging directly or indirectly supply of specified actionable claims, and whether such actionable claims are supplied by him or through him, whether consideration in money or money's worth, including virtual digital asset. All provisions of this act applies for the supplier. If he is supplier liable to pay tax in relation to supply of such actionable claims. Recipient. Recipient means if a consideration is payable, the person is liable to pay that consideration. Who is liable to pay the consideration? If consideration is not payable on the supply of goods, then whom the goods are delivered and made available, or whom the possession or use of goods will be made available. If there is no consideration is payable, then person to whom the service is rendered is called as a recipient. Here we are seeing the person. So who is person? Under section 2, subsection 84, person means individual, HUF, company, firm, trust, limited liability partnership, local authority, association of persons, any corporate or incorporated by under the law, central government, state government, cooperative society, society defined under the Societies Regulation Act 1860. All these will be form of a supply, that is service, goods and service, with consideration, without consideration, deemed supply. We are going to understand in detail about all these things. Now, supply. Supply is a taxable event. What is supply? Supply is a taxable event. Then only tax on supply of goods or services or both will be imposed. Now, what is goods? What do you mean by goods? Let us understand the meaning of goods. Here, goods means movable property. Goods means movable property. Any kind of movable property other than immovable property. Other than immovable property. So, immovable property means land, building, benefits of construction, of constructional rights attached faster to the earth, land, that is tree. Something which are falling under the immovable property is not coming under the goods. It is not coming under the goods. So here you can see every kind of movable property other than money and security. Other than money and security. Security means shares, bonds, debentures, mutual funds, all these comes under the securities. If not goods, you have to check. See, money and securities are not goods. If not goods, then you need to check another criteria. That is one more step you need to check. What is that one more step? Whether it is falling under services. Whether it is falling under services. Because for imposing the GST, just having goods is not the condition. Just having goods is not the condition. It could be either goods or services. Is it clear? Then, what is the meaning of money? Money means any currency holding for the purpose of circulation, but you are holding for intrinsic or numismatic value or numismatic value. What is numismatic value? Now, I am a currency collector. I am having one old coin when British rule was there, no? For the purpose of settlement, the coin which they were using, that coin I have for the settlement, which whatever they were using. Now it is not for the purpose of settlement. You can't use. I am a currency collector. Then it is not falling under money, but it is falling under the goods because it fetches the high value. It fetches the high value. Even money and securities will not be considered in the services. See here, you can see anything other than goods, money, and security. So it is not falling under the services also. So the money and securities is not considered under the goods and services. It is kept out under the GST purview. Money and security, neither a goods nor a services. Neither a goods nor a services. But, excuse me, but includes actionable claims. What is actionable claims? You have arrears of rent. You have a property. You have arrears of rent. Money is not received. Rent is not received. Then the arrears of rent, you have a right to collect that. And actionable claims covers lottery, betting, gambling, unsecured debt, which are covered under the goods. Now, here you can see it continues growing crops, grass, and things which are attached to the farming part of a land. See, you can ask me, ma'am, just now you have told the immovable property is not falling under the goods. Now, red sandalwood, you want to sell that. You want to sell that. How you will cut? See, you will cut the trunk and you are going to sell it. Here you can see, agree to be severed before supply under a contract of supply. It is actually it is a immovable property. How they are selling? Agreed to cut the trunk from the land. Agreed to cut the trunk from the land and they will be sold. So it is covered under the goods. It is covered under the goods. Agreed to be severed either before supply or under contract of supply. Under contract of supply. Now let us understand services. If something is not falling under the goods, if something is not falling under the goods, then they can fall under the services. They can fall under the services other than money and securities, but includes activities relating to use of money. Activities relating to use of money. Use of money means here education, coaching centers, you all know. See, for the services, whatever you are availed, the coaching, for that you are paying the fee, right? So, service. It is a service. It is falling under services. The activity which is related, for that you paid a fee. So that is why use of money. Activity is relating to money. And they defined services in very comprehensive model. Comprehensive model. What they have done, they added one simple line: anything which is not goods, all of them falls under the services. All of them falls under the services. It is very broader. What is related money? Related money means, now you have a and B are friends. A had some emergency, so he requested B, pay, give me 10,000 rupees, I'll pay you next month. I'll return you next month. So B has given to A. Next month, B returned the amount. Then it is not a problem. It is not falling under GST. Then A and B in another scenario. A requested B, give 10,000 for some emergency. B told, okay, I will give you a 10,000, but while returning, give me with interest. Give me with interest. Now, the extra separate charge which you are charging, interest, that falls under the supply of service. Activities which is related to use of money, for which you have a separate consideration charging. Separate consideration is what? The 1000 rupees interest, whatever you have charged, that separate consideration component will be considered as a service. Is it clear? Now, here again, the conversion by cash or any other mode. Here, money includes from conversion of one currency to another currency, one form to another form, one denomination to another denomination. Now, let us say you have 1 lakh rupees. You need to have a DD for it. You need to convert into DD. You have a physical cash of 1 lakh rupees. Now you want to convert that into DD. You went to bank. You have filled the application to convert into DD. You have deposited. Now 1 lakh rupees DD also they are given. Have they given for 1 lakh only? No. They have charged extra amount for the DD, right? So that extra consideration, that separate consideration falls under the supply of service. Indian rupee to dollar. You have INR, you want to convert into US dollar. So then for that conversion, they will charge separate charges. That falls under the services. 500 rupees notes you have, you want to convert into 10 rupee note denomination. Then the separate charge falls under the supply of services. Conversion charges becomes the supply of services. Always understand that money is itself neither a goods nor a service. Money is itself neither a goods nor a service, but activities related to conversion of money from one form to another form, one currency to another currency, one denomination to another denomination. Separate consideration amount will be charged. That separate consideration is called as supply of service. So we have understood money. Let us understand securities. I want to purchase some shares. I want to purchase some shares. So from ITC, TCS, I will purchase TCS shares. 1000 quantity of shares I want to purchase, 100 rupees per share. What it is 1 lakh rupees. Now tell me, this transaction, the example which I have given, it is does not falling under goods or services. Now, like this market will transact? No, the transaction not happens in this. Between the buyer and the seller, there is a person called intermediate. There is a person called intermediate. If you are doing trading, you all know you will use some apps, right? XYZ apps you are going to use for trading. Now, after trading, they will charge brokerage charges. They will charge brokerage charges. So what the separate for facilitating, arranging the transaction, for connecting this buyer to the seller. Whatever charges they are charging, it is called as brokerage charge or commission. Something what they have charged, the XYZ company charged from you for what purpose? Facilitating from you to purchase or arrange the transaction in securities, for which commission whatever they have charged, that is subjected to the GST. That is subjected to the GST. Now we have understood what is actionable claims. Also you understood actionable claims means whatever arrears you have, that you are going to recover, that is actionable claims. So we have understood goods, we have understood services, we have understood actionable claims and money. Now what is GST? GST is a taxable tax on a event called, taxable event called supply of what? Goods, services or both. Now the taxable event should take place. Is it clear? The taxable event should take place to impose the GST. Otherwise, GST will not be imposed, because you have goods, you have services, you are providing services, GST will not be imposed. You have to have the taxable event called the supply. Supply of goods or services should have taken place. Then only GST will be imposed. When you will call an activity will fall under supply, right? You can't call all the activities are falling under supply, right? The definition to know that we have to cover the provisions. We have to cover the provisions, section 7, to understand when an event called supply, when an event or activity called as supply, for that you need to cover the provisions of section 7. This section 7 clearly defines or examines different circumstances when an activity will be considered as a supply. The overall structure of the section 7 is, we have section 7 subsection 1, clause A, clause AA, clause B, clause C. Supply, when an activity this tells when an activity will qualify as a supply, when an activity will be qualify as a supply. The first one here, the taxable event under GST, section 7 subsection 1 clause A. So what are all the forms of supply will be considered? Sale, sale, where transfer or agreed to transfer property, goods to the buyer. Transfer, you are conveying or handling over the possession or control. Then barter, exchange of goods or services for other goods and services. Exchange, giving and taking one thing for the another. License, rental, lease, disposal. Now what this section 7 subsection 1a tells? Activities qualified as a supply, when you will be treated as supply of goods, supply of service. Then we have section 7 subsection 2. This will say negative list. Negative list. What is negative list? Though in some circumstances, if all the conditions are getting fulfilled, but in under section 7 subsection 2 tells us that there are certain activities neither be considered as a supply of goods nor supply of service. That means government has kept some activities outside of the GST preview. GST preview, right? So now here you can see section 7 subsection Section 7, subsection 1A. Section 7, subsection 1. This includes goods, services, both. With this, forms of supply, plus consideration, plus consideration. Then course or furtherance of business, course and furtherance of business. We have understood what is goods, what is supply, and forms of supply. Then let us understand now consideration. What is consideration? So consideration means something in return. Something in return. It can be monetary or non monetary, doing an act or not doing an act. Now, here there is an example. There is a example. You went to temple. You felt that you want to donate 10,000 rupees. You want to donate 10,000 rupees. You have donated. Then GST is not coming. It's not a problem. Now the temple, what they decided, whatever 10,000 you have paid, they decided to purchase a water purifier. In the name of gratitude, they have put your name on the water purifier, and they have informed. Then that is also not a problem. It is also not falling under GST. There was a festival in the temple. They have banners they have posted all near the area. In that banner, they mentioned your name below, advertisement. XYZ furniture, best in the locality, best seller in the locality. Then the GST comes into picture. Here 10,000 plus GST, because it is called quid pro quo. Quid pro quo, something in return. You got an advertisement, right? For the amount which you have paid. That is why it is falling under supply of goods. Then artist. Artist means art. You are an artist. You have drawn a picture, right? Art. You want to sell it. You sent into art gallery. Art gallery you have sent. That is also not a problem. GST is not coming. Now art gallery sent this to exhibition. Exhibition. Then also not a problem. Again GST is not falling. In exhibition, the visitor visited. The visitor visited. Now one of the visitor liked your art. They want to purchase. They want to purchase. Then the supply take place. Then the supply takes place. Now, what is the meaning of business? The meaning of business. Business, any trade, commerce, manufacturer, profession, vocation, adventure, wager, or any other similar activities. And any activities or transaction in connection to the incidental or ancillary activities of transaction, nature of trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, and whether or not it is a pecuniary benefit. And this includes the provision by club, associations, societies, any such body. Is it clear? This is all comes under the section 7 subsection 1. So what does it mean when you will call it as a supply? When there is a goods, service, or both. With this, it should be a form of supply, and there should be a consideration and course or furtherance of business. Course and furtherance of business. Then it is falling under supply under section 7 subsection 1. Now let us understand section 7 subsection 1 clause AA. Clause AA. So what this clause AA says here, this section says there is a person, individual person. the club, right? Activities or a transaction, whatever mentioned in the constraints, that will be considered as a supply. That will be considered as a supply. For this, they went to till high court. It was the favor verdict was favor to the club only, but still the government GST clearly defined whatever service you are providing, for that it is falling under the supply. Is it clear? Then section 7 subsection 1b, it is importing of business, importing of services, importing of services. This includes importing of services. This should have consideration whether it is not business or not a business, still it is falling under the supply. Now the two mechanism comes here. There are two mechanism in the collection of GST. That is forward charge mechanism, reverse charge mechanism. Forward charge mechanism means regularly how you are paying the GST, that falls under the forward charge mechanism. What is reverse charge mechanism? Now, from USA, you imported the service, digital advertisement service. Now, the government can't ask US supplier to pay the GST. So, what the government will say? Recipient to pay the GST. Recipient to pay the GST directly to the government. So this is called reverse charge mechanism. What is this? Reverse charge mechanism. Section 7 1 we have understood. Section 7 1, when we will call it as a supply, when there is a goods, services, both, and it should be a form of supply. Consideration should be there. Course of furtherance of business. Then section 7 clause subsection 1 clause AA, and any person individual is providing activities or a transaction which are which to their members constitutes, this will be considered as a supply. Then B says importing of services, and that includes consideration, and it can be a not business also falls under the supply of services. Now deemed supply. Deemed supply. Deemed supply. Under deemed supply, some activities specified under Schedule 1. Schedule 1, even without consideration, it will be considered as a supply for the GST purpose. Okay. Only those business. Now example, supply without consideration. Activities which is specified in the Schedule 1, and here supply as per the section 7 subsection 1 clause C. Transfer or disposal of business assets. Transfer or disposal of business asset. Transfer must be permanent, and you should avail the ITC. What do you have to do? See, you are transferring the business or you are winding up of the business. On that, you need to pay the GST. In some, there is exemptions for this that we are going to discuss later. Now here we have an example. We can see laptop given free to a friend, but still you have availed the ITC for this laptop, then still it falls under the supply. You have to pay GST for this. Okay. Distinct person. Distinct person means here different GST registration. Factory is owner is same PAN number he have. Okay. Then you have a factory manufacturing in UP, branch showroom in Delhi. So it is falling under the supply of service. In case of single business person, multiple businesses, all businesses operated in a single registration. If the owner is voluntarily come forward for taking a separate registration, then both will be treated as a distinct person under section 25. Under section 25. Deemed to be supply. requires to pay GST without consideration. Now, same owner only. So he will not take any money for this. This is without consideration, but it will be called as deemed to be supply. Different states, separate registration under same PAN. It is also treated as a distinct person and deemed to be considered as a supply under para number 2, schedule 1, even if it is done without consideration. Now, one more example I'll tell you. Now, electronic store is there in Bangalore. Same owner have a alcoholic shop for human consumption in Chennai. You want to entertain his customer. So he is having electronic showroom. No, from that store he brought TV. So what is this? It is a distinct person. Still, it is be considered as a supply. It is a supply. So these two entities will be considered as a distinct person, and this will be treated as a establishment of distinct person. Establishment of distinct person and deemed to be considered as a supply under section 7 subsection 1 clause C. Is it clear? Then now employer and employee, up to 50,000 gift if you are given to your employer, then it is not falling under GST. If you pay above 50,000, you paid iPhone as a gift to your owner employer, then it is liable under the GST. It will be considered treated as a supply. Is it clear? Then principal agent transaction. Principal agent transaction. See, we all know principal, he supplies goods to the agent on behalf of the supplier. Agent sells the goods. Agent sells the goods. This will be considered as deemed to be supply. Deemed to be supply. Why? Now, the the agent is selling on behalf of the principal and invoice in the name of the agent. Invoice will be in the name of the invoice, whatever issued in the name of the agent, then it will be considered as a supply. Okay. uh, Proceeded, the principal agent proceeded on the principal, then also it is considered as a deemed to be supply. Agent is undertaken to receive goods on principal's behalf, then also it is deemed to be considered as a supply. Is it clear? When you will call it as a agent, with under section 2 subsection 5, any person who carries a business of supply of receipt of goods, services, both on behalf of another, then he is called as an agent. Principal means section 2 subsection 88. Person on whose behalf the agent is working for the business of supply or a receipt of goods or services or both. What is the crucial test here? Whether agent has a authority to pass or receive the title of the goods. The invoice should be in the name of the agent, on behalf of the principal. Only supply of goods is covered under para 3 schedule 1. Is it clear? Then one more thing here we have, that is importing of services. Importing of services without consideration. Importing of services without consideration. And you have to check whether it is a related person, and establishment should be outside the India. Then it must be a course of business. Then also it will be deemed to be supply. You can ask me, ma'am, can we compare section 7 subsection 1 clause B, import of services, with supply under section 7 subsection 1 clause C? Yes. What is the criteria for section 7 subsection 1 clause B? That is, consideration should be there. consideration should be there. If consideration is there, then directly you can record under supply under section 7 subsection 1 clause B. If without consideration, there is no consideration, then you have to check whether it is a form of related person established outside the India. Is it a business? Then it is falling under section 7 subsection 1 clause C. Once an activities are qualified as a supply, you need to understand whether it is following under the supply of goods or supply of services are considered. First, you have to identify whether qualifying as a supply. Then you have to check whether it is a supply of goods or supply of service. And this is most important question, because based on this supply of goods, supply of services, the rate will be decided. Rate will be decided. Now here we have section 7 subsection 1a schedule 2. The list of activities has been given. List of activities has been given. Transfer. This is ownership transfer. Ownership transfer. This will be falling under supply of goods. Supply of goods. If you are transferring any right of the goods, shares, without transferring the title, ownership you are not transferring, then it is a supply of service. Supply of service. Any transfer of title of goods, agreement where property goods shall pass at a future date. This is talking about hire purchase. Hire purchase. Then it is falling under the supply of goods. Land and building. Now you can ask me, ma'am, you have said land and building is a immovable property. It is not falling under goods also, services also. Then why it is coming here? Now here you see, land and building is not goods and it is not falling under services. But any lease, tenancy, assessment, license to occupy land, then it is falling under supply of services. Any lease or letting out of building, including commercial industry or residential complex, for business or commerce, wholly or partly, it is also falling under supply of services. Treatment of process, it is nothing but a job work. It is nothing but a job work. Now printing industry, you can take on the cloth, they will print, no? So that falls under the supply of services. Treatment of business assets. Treatment of business assets. Here, whatever business assets you have transferred or disposed under the direction of person, no longer to form a part of those assets. Example, you sold your business, you transferred your business goods, and you have not disposed. You have kept in one room, but still it is falling under supply of goods. Goods held or used in the business put to private use. You have a office car, it is used on working days. Sunday it is not going anywhere, it is parked in the office premises. So what the manager asked, give me on Sunday, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. Then it is coming under the supply of services. Goods, things which are part of the asset carried by a person who ceases to be taxable person or deemed to be supplied by him, then it is falling under supply of goods. There is an exception. What is the exception case? It is if you sold your business, if you transferred your business to a going concern person, then he is going to continue, then it is not falling under the supply of goods, he will pay the GST. If your business is carried by a legal representative, then it is also deemed to be taxable person. Renting, construction, etc. Here, renting of immovable property. Renting of immovable property, construction of complex building, civil structure. Construction includes addition, alteration, replacement. This all comes under the supply of services. And here, one more thing you need to understand that a registered person. Registered person means, example, 31st December 26, closing your business, ceasing your business. You are not selling your assets, leaving it. Then also it is deemed to be considered as a supply. That is what supply of goods. Is it clear? Then composite supply. Composite supply means work cost. Before that, here we have temporary transfer or permitting to use enjoyment of intellectual property. Intellectual property, patent and all, if you are given, that is falls under supply of services. Development of design, programming, customization, adoption, upgradation, enhancement, implementation of IT software. If you are a IT developer, program developer, then you are falling under supply of services. Now, agreeing to obligation to refrain from an act or to tolerate an act or situation or to do an act. Let us understand what is refrain the act. Refrain from an act. Now, you are a builder. You got a piece of land. You got a piece of land. The land which you have got, no, there already the building has been constructed next to your piece of land. There is a four buildings are there. You got a permission to construct 5 floor. You got a permission to construct 5 floor. You went to near the building. There you have said that you are going to construct 5 floor. The four building owner is there, no. What he has done, he has come and requested, boss, please don't construct 5 floor, construct only 4 floor. Already we are the ventilation problems will come later. He is not agreed because he got permission from the government. Then what you have done, you said, I'll pay 10 lakh to not to construct an extra floor. To not to construct an extra floor. That is refrain from an act. Refrain from an act. Then what is agreeing to do an act? Agreeing to do an act. There is a factory, manufacturing factory, and they are emitting the waste, pollution, emitting the pollution into air, waste, whatever they are emitting in the manufacturing industry. As per the pollution norms. Near to that, there is a residential welfare association. Residential welfare association. They have come to the factory and requested, please do an extra treatment to it, then release it to air. Then release it to air. Already you are following the pollution norms. Why you will agree? Then they said, you see, for doing a extra treatment and all, you need to purchase machinery and all. So what they have said, 5 lakh they will pay. 5 lakh they'll pay. Agreeing to do an act. To do an act that falls under the supply of service. Agreeing to tolerate an act. Agreeing to tolerate an act. What is tolerate an act? There is a big showroom. Showroom is there. Opposite showrooms, you have seen many small shops will be there. There is a pani puri wala. There is a pani puri wala. Evening there will be huge crowd near the pani puri wala. To enter and exit to the showroom, it was difficult. See, the shop owner come and said, please locate, you relocate it because of crowd entry and exit. We are facing a problem. What the pani puri wala was said, boss, I'll pay you 20,000 per month. Please tolerate this. Please tolerate this. That 20,000 will be considered as a supply of service. This is the tolerate of service. Tolerate of act. Composite supply. Composite supply means section 8 covers the composite supply. Here, this includes supply of goods, supply of services, but it will be considered as a supply of service only. Supply of service only. See, work cost. There was a construction, you want to construct an extra floor. One builder said, boss, I will take care of labor, material, everything. I will construct and give you an extra floor. See, this includes labor, material, everything, but still it will be considered as a supply of service. Restaurant, food falls under goods, but still it will be considered as a supply of services. Is it clear? Now, section taxability of tenancy rights. Some of the important clarification which have been given under GST. That is tenancy rights which are being transferred, tenancy premium to the tenant if paying the premium to for occupying the rights, or pay rent or sell tenancy rights. The or landlord may tenancy premium to the tenant to vacate. This will be considered as a service. It is liable to pay the GST. Qualify as a lease renting defined as a service under para 2 schedule 2, even if stamp duty and registration charges apply. This still falls under the scope of supply. Transfer of tenancy right does not qualify as a sale of land of building under the schedule number 3. Then 3 libs of para 5 schedule 2, agreeing to the obligation to refrain from the act, tolerate an act, or obligation to do an act. This I have explained you. And what this says, there should be expressed or implied agreement. Agreement should be there. Consideration must flow in written. Consideration must be there. We have seen 3 cases where 10 lakh is ready to pay and 5 lakh is ready to pay, and he was ready to install, right? Agreeing to do an act. 5 lakh is ready to pay. 20,000 he was paying for tolerate per month. Expressed or implied agreement should be there and consideration must flow. Now, let us see Schedule 3 of GST Act 2017, Section 2, Section 7, Subsection 2. Sorry, Section 7, Subsection 2. Now, here, these are neither considered as a supply of goods or nor supply of services. What are these? Services, whatever provided by the employer to employee. Employer to employee. In relation to employer and employee relationship, this will be not considered as a supply of goods or supply of services. Any court tribunal establishment under law, you have paid any court tribunal fees, then it is not falling under supply of goods or service. Functions performed by the certain persons, officials, that is member of parliament, member of state legislature, panchayat, municipalities, local authorities. Now it is not falling under the supply of goods or services. Services related to funeral, burial, sermonium, mortuary, including transportation of deceased, this is not falling under the supply of goods or service. Sale of land and sale of building as per the para 5b. Here, sale of land or sale of building. Here you need to understand. What you need to understand is, you need to find out the cutoff date. You need to find out the cutoff date. What is cutoff date? It is earlier date of first occupation. Earlier date of first occupation. Earlier date of issuance of completion certificate. Earlier date of issuance of completion certificate. Now, example, earlier date of first occupation is 20th April. Earlier date of issuance of completion certificate is 15th April. Then the 15th April will be considered as a cutoff date. If you pay before the cutoff date, then it is completely taxable. Example, see here. Now, here your earlier date of first occupation is 20th April. Earlier date of issuance of certificate, 15th April. 15th April. Now, which is earlier? 15th April. If you pay 1 lakh rupees advance here, then your entire amount, the remaining amount, whatever you are paying, 49 lakh for sale, it will be considered as for the GST. If you pay after this, then it is not be treated as a supply of service. Is it clear? Then actionable claims other than specified actionable claims. This includes betting, house racing, casinos, lottery, gambling, online money gaming. Apportionment of co-insurance premium by lead insurance to the co-insurer. This let us understand. Now, what is apportionment? Apportionment of insurance. Now, there is a company. The company wants to take 1000 crores insurance coverage. Insurance coverage. The A company went and approached the X company, X insurance company, X insurance company. Now, X insurance company said, "Boss, you come tomorrow, we will discuss." Now, what the X company went and asked Y company, they don't want to take entire risk. Y insurance company, Y insurance company to give a now 1000 crores of insurance. No, they said 600 crores I will give you, boss. 400 crores you cover. 400 crores. This is co-insurance. Now, the insurance company X is called a lead insurer and Y is called a co-insurer. Co-insurer. What is the premium? The premium is 10 crore. 10 crore is premium. GST is 18%. 18% means 1.8 crore. Total 11.8 crore. 1.8 crore they paid to the government. Now, the entire 10 crore is not belong to the X company, X insurance company. X company say takes 6 crores and the Y company, the X company remits to Y company 4 crore. 4 crore. 4 crore remitted to the co-insurance company. Now, on this, GST will not be coming. GST will not be imposed because on this 4 crore, this is a part of 10 crore. 10 crore includes 1.8 crore of GST. Already GST paid. If again it is charged, then it has become double taxation. That is why GST will not be charged. That is apportionment of co-insurance premium by lead insurance to co-insurance. Is it clear? Now, let us understand services by the insured to reinsurer. Insured to reinsurer. What is reinsurance agreement? Reinsurance agreement. Now, same example we will take. A company wants to take a 1000 crores of insurance coverage. Insurance coverage. It approached the Tata AG. Tata AG has provided the insurance also. Tata AG has provided 1000 crores of insurance. What is the premium? 10 crore. 1.8 crore of GST they paid to the government. What is 11.8? Okay. Now, what this Tata AG has done to avoid the risk, to transfer the risk, to transfer the risk, they requested ICICI insurance company, ICICI insurance company to reinsure for the 50, sorry, 5 crore, 5 crore, 5 crore. What is the GST on this 5 crore? 5 crore, 18% is 0.9%, 5.9 crore. 5.9 crore. This is reinsurance. Reinsurance. Now, Tata AG has given business to ICICI. What ICICI will do? For this 5 crore business, they will pay commission to Tata AG. Tata AG. That commission is called as seeding commission. Seeding commission of 50 lakh on this 5 crore. 50 lakh they paid. 50 lakh they paid. On this will be not considered as a supply of service. Is it clear? Service by insurer or reinsurer, seeding or reinsurance commission. It is not subjected to the supply of service. Because already they paid on this 5 crore only 50 lakh they are paying. Already they paid GST on this. So again it will not be charged. This is about the apportionment of insurance and reinsurance agreement. Is it clear? Then next, non-supplies under GST. Some of the notified or clarified. Notified or clarified. Non-supply. Activities in relation to panchayat municipality functions. This is not related to the non-supply under GST. Grant of liquor of license, alcoholic liquor. It is out of the GST preview, right? Human consumption will not be considered under the GST. So license issued, it is also not covered under the GST. But other license like telephonic license and all whatever you should comes under the supply of service. Clarification regarding the transaction in voucher. This we are going to study later in the subsequent chapters. Now, non-supply which are clarified by way of circular. Here, this is important. With this, with one example, we are going to understand. Logistic companies are there. Logistic companies are there. We'll take example of VRL. Example of VRL. Now, in Karnataka, Bengaluru, they have one branch. From every day from Karnataka to Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, they are supplying the goods. They are supplying the goods. This is without consideration every day. Without consideration. Now, it is falling under distinct person under section 25. Is it clear? Distinct person. Now, what the PO officer said, value of truck. Value of truck. On value of truck, GST will be calculated. Value of truck. This will be considered as a supply. This will be considered as a supply under section 7, subsection 1, clause C, para 2, schedule 1. Para 2, schedule 1. Is it clear? Now, see, they have on entire value of the truck, they are calculating GST. Say they are given some concession. What that concession? Now, further supply of transportation of transportation of passengers, goods, transportation of goods. This is further. Repairs not be treated as a supply. All these three not treated as a supply. As supply. Now let us understand one more example. What is further supply? In Punjab, Ashok Leyland manufacturing unit is there. Manufacturing unit in Punjab. 10 vehicles they are sending to depot. The depot in Delhi. Delhi. Now, what is the value of truck? The value of truck, entire value of truck will be considered for the GST. From this, further supply. Further supply. Any transportation of passenger, goods, repairs, same applies to here also. Any further supply, this will not be treated as a supply. This will not be treated as a supply. Then last one, what is interstate movement of rigs, tools and space? JCB. The constructor, builder is constructing in Karnataka. Builder is constructing in Karnataka. He have his own JCB. Karnataka. JCB is using in Insight. JCB is using in Insight. And the same builder is constructing in Tamil Nadu also. The same JCB they is sending to here also. So what they said, the entire JCB value will be considered for the GST. Entire JCB value will be considered as the GST. Composite supply. So what is composite supply? Composite supply is when you get a combination of goods and services at a single price. When you get a combination of goods and services at a single price. Example, you went to one five-star hotel, you have taken the accommodation. With accommodation, they have given complimentary breakfast, laundry services, airport pickup and drop, free airport pickup and drop. The combination you are getting at a 1000 rupees. What is 10,000 rupees? 10,000 rupees. Now, what you have to do, you need to check whether it is naturally bundled. Whether it is naturally bundled. Now, here, which is the main supply? Means the principal supply. What is my basic requirement? That is hotel accommodation. Hotel accommodation will be treated as a basic supply. The entire amount will be considered on that, and on that GST will be calculated. Okay, the main supply and other are considered as the ancillary supply. Now, mixed supply. Mixed supply. Mixed supply. See here you can see package of canned food, sweet, chocolate, cakes, dry fruits, everything you will get at a one package, one bundle of components, four components or five components will be there in the product. You will get a same company products, but different products. It is mixed. These are all not naturally bundled. Not naturally bundled. And nothing you can call it as a mixed, nothing you can call it as a principal supply. Now what you will do, whichever have higher rate of tax, whichever have highest rate of tax, then that will be considered. That is mixed supply under GST. Mixed supply under GST. Now here you can see face cream, tissue packet, nail paint you got. Now what is the rate of GST? Highest rate of GST, it is 28%. Then that will be considered on the total value, whichever have higher rate under the mixed supply. See, always remember, being conceptually clear is more important. When you are conceptually understood, Then, while solving the problems, you will never make mistakes. So, that is why understand the concepts clearly. Then, work on the problems. I have done previously introduction to GST also. Watch that video if you are not watched, and comment in the comment section if you want any particular problem or a particular concept which you want me to take. I will discuss in the upcoming video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.